All right, guys, you guys know what time it is. Welcome back to Trash Trades. I'm Luca. This is VJ here. We're going straight in with some trashy ass trades. Straight away, starting off this fucking episode, you are blinded by these three charts on VJ screen. Like what am I
Right.
seeing here? I don't know. We'll get into it.
Yep.
Apparently, we got a
Fine.
trashy trade. We got something to learn from
Yep.
today. So very interesting.
Yep.
VJ, how are you? Tell us about this three chart layout.
I'm all right, my man. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm alright. I'm hanging in there.
Good. 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 So yeah, the street chart layout, man. Something I've been doing because I was doing the two chart and just looking for SMTs between NQ and ES as a trigger to get me in, and now I mean that was good enough. It works very well, but I realized pretty quickly that if you use YM as well and you have a um, third pair. That doesn't make sense. A third one to be part of the triumvirate. It just helps to catch other correlations or to confirm them. Sometimes these will be correlated, and then YM will show the crack in correlation that things might switch. Um,
Hmm.
and so,
So like a triple
uh,
SMT type.
yeah, exactly. Like
Okay.
here's Creed. Here's Creed. Someone told me
Wow.
about this, and I was like, oh, okay. I'll check into this. I'm not really trading crude right now, but when I looked at it, they actually do SMT a lot with this. You know what I'm saying? Like
Damn,
just different way.
you're really all about the SMTs.
Well, yes, because this is the thing. Like, there's a lot of PD arrays. There's a lot of highs and lows. What are things that make certain highs and lows that make me interested in thinking that this could be a critical sweep that's going to cause a reversal? Like something that I have often struggled with is like, here's a low, here's a low, here's a high. Here's some swing highs. Oh, did we sweep this? Like, are we going to go up? Did these sweep? I would just get confused. Like, which sweep is the one that's okay? Sometimes these seem to work. Sometimes this seems to work. Sometimes it needs to get to this external one. Which is it? Why did this one have to sweep here and then this one not? Is that bad? I didn't know what to do, and SMT was not really something many months ago that I would really use to key me in. And then I had learned about it, started being able to see it much better and be like, oh, okay. Like I can use them as a confluence. So yeah, I think like a year ago I didn't use them at all. And then I just use them as a confluence, but nothing extra. Just to be like, oh yeah, this makes it stronger.
Interesting.
Now the way that I think of trading is like we're small port boys. I think I made this
You
point
did.
before. And as a small port boy, we really want to wait for the most probabilistic trades. And then as you grow your portfolio and you start mastering that, you sort of become like, oh, we probably need to just keep doing what's working. I can do a couple other things, but why would I ever stop what's working? I'll just scale into them. Right. So, what I do look for is SMTs to make it so a small port boy, that's like my initial confluence, especially certain types of SMTs, which will occur like between quarters. So like the highs and lows between quarters, like days, quarters, um, they have significance. They're more like a sweep of this low. It's a London high, London low, but it's also the low of this quarter, which is generally the same thing. So if it gets swept and then reversed from there, I'll trust that more. If we SMT on those, I
Hmm.
will trust them more.
Okay. I don't know. SMTs. I tried it out a little bit. I'm not very knowledgeable on SMTs. Don't really like them. But I mean, there you go. To each their own. So anyway, we got a great fucking trade. Not as trashy. Me and BJ, we talked a little bit before the show. He said not the trashiest trade ever. It's the most trashy, but sometimes we don't have the content, unfortunately. The juiciness. But we're back here. We still got a trade for you guys. So let's roll the intro.
Order filled.
All right, let's go.
Beautiful. So this was a case of me overthinking and then breaking a bit of a rule, and then all of it sort of tying in together and just having to be honest. This is actually a pretty trashy trade, but there's not much to the actual trade without the setup of the trade and why I sort of set myself up to make a mistake that I've been pretty good at avoiding. But we're all humans and it sometimes happens, and I should have sort of seen the signs, because one of the things I tell myself in the morning is literally it's like the third line of the things I read out to myself just to remind myself of like critical rules. I call them like my trading mantras. Is KISS, keep it simple, stupid. I just really keep it simple.
Hmm.
Overthinking on a trade, you are likely forcing or essentially doing too much. And then Castro has a saying: simplicity scales, complexity fails. And so I'm just like, okay, I was doing a little bit too much. And I sort of forgot that, like, a couple critical things because I was just overthinking a little bit. So we'll go into the trade. So, number one, here's previous day low, previous day low, previous day low. What you will notice is NQ and ES are under previous day low. YM is not. That is an SMT. So far, it's holding up. Now, also, you could sort of see that. Um, so we have that SMT sort of working. We have this little SMT down here that sort of push price up, but it's nothing like major or anything. Like, we're trying to look at like these highs, these lows, whatever, and see, do we do something in the range or whatever. But we do have this, so I'm actually like temporarily bullish, even though and I don't want to skip too far ahead, but even though we've been actually quite bearish for a little bit, we've been making fair value gaps to the downside, had a big drop, and you know, it's I'm just expecting us to move up, manipulate some of these highs, and then to come down.
Hmm.
Just because we're like temporarily bearish and we have NFP come in, that's why we're here starting at 8:15. So here's the setup. Let's see, do we get anything here? Well, looks like we were right, at least on the temporary bullishness, right? At this time, when news hits, this is a key time to look for SMTs. But you'll notice we actually don't really get an obvious one. Okay, London high and Asia high all got took on
Hmm.
all three. And I'm like, I don't really know what to think about that. A lot of times one won't take Asia high. Okay, that'd be interesting. A lot of times one's not going to take London high. Maybe like YM actually goes down, takes previous day low, and then comes back, but like it's still sort of SMT. There's like certain indications, so these might sort of follow. So I'm like, okay, well, don't got anything there. And as you can see, slight crack and correlation right here at these highs. These are like 15-minute highs. But nothing like too crazy, too wild, it seems. Um, we go, and I'm just like, okay, the most recent crack is this bullish previous day low been taken. So as much as I'm bearish, I'm waiting for at least like some sort of SMT that I could really believe in. These ones took this high. This one hasn't taken this. Well, this one's taken this high, but hasn't taken this high. But it looks like it's heading there. So I'm not really too sure what to do. I'm doing a lot bit of overthinking. Okay, this is where it
Hmm.
starts getting more confusing. YM takes a high, NQ drops, gets in this fair value gap in these order blocks. This is like a redelivered, rebalanced PD array. You could think of this as maybe a breaker. Is my short bias fucked? I can't really tell. We're closing over here. And I'm like, where's the SMT? Now I'm overthinking SMTs. I'm trying to look at like SMTs between the quarters. We already took this. And there is an SMT that's occurring, but I am not giving it as much value because I'm like, well, we took the previous day low. Shouldn't that be more important? We didn't take previous day low, but oh no, excuse me, we SMT'd a previous day low, but we're SMTing right here on this high.
Hmm.
So if you could see from this high to here, we're SMTing on
Interesting.
like a pretty strong swing high, right? And we had news again, I believe, at 10, which I think is what this candle is. Oh, at 9:30. Excuse me, this 9:30 open. But this, as you notice, like in this quarter, which is like the previous day, this is previous day high. So I'm more looking at the high of that this one to be SMT by, but none of them took that. But we are SMT in here, and I'm starting to overthink this SMT. That's the thing that sort of fucks me. Oh, we have this SMT here, then we have this SMT here. What do we do? Well, I'll give you guys a tip, and that's just what it is. The most recent SMT, if it holds and actually like changes structure and is in line with the higher time frame order flow, that's the one that should be valued.
Hmm.
So this one, even though it's not the highest high that I'm expecting the SMT with, is still a pretty strong SMT. The time it was made was like this is like probably like New York PM highs, and they just they start SMT in there, and then you see this reaction. You see this doji. YM is going up, yes, but what is there to do? Also, like, so this starting to look more bearish. Okay, they sort of SMT'd. If you look on the lower time frame, they SMT'd again right here. So here's this high right here on NQ. The same high is right here, and the same high is right here. As you can see, ES and NQ did take this, but NQ did not. So
Hmm.
this is another like usually you want to see them start to happen on the lower time frame in unison as well. So one took here on the lower time frame. This one does not. This is another sign that that SMT is starting to hold. But I'm a little bit tunnel vision on the PDL thing. I'm missing these signs I mean I see that this is a possible entry, but I'm like okay, I did get the higher time frame SMT, and this is where things get really screwy in my head. Well, here's 830 low. This is a strong place right here. What's strong about it? Well, we had news NFP here. If you notice, from the 830 lows, we are SMT. Now, this is why SMT sometimes can be fucking ridiculous.
Hmm. I'm not
So
gonna
we're
lie, this is
SMT
sort
in
of
here.
confusing me. That's all these SMTs. You're layering them on
No,
like
I know,
crazy.
I know, I know. And I'm pretty much done with it at this point. Okay. This prevents me from going short. It makes sense because it's like a warning sign. But I start thinking like, oh, we took previous day low. This could be like getting back up for like the previous day low, ignoring the fact that on the higher time frame we're bearish, and that we've been bearishly S&T in as well after the news hit, after 9:30 hit. Break it, change the state delivery, break it structure with fair value gap, breaker, midnight opening price, buy, sell above. Like it's all setting up for shorts, but I'm getting SMT fucking blinded.
Hmm.
And so I end up not taking any trades. And price just dumps. And I really should have like entered here or entered here after this was made into an order block and on this retrace. Um, and I missed the move. And I'm just like most of the morning I'm just like, okay, what am I supposed to do? Like around this point, like should I enter? Is this a breaker? Uh does this count as inverting, this does this count as inverting this fair value gap. Like I'm just doing all the thinking and just realizing like, okay, I missed the trade. That happens sometimes. I overthought it, went in my journal. And that was like sort of it for there. I did take a trade based on that. However, you'll notice the screen box, and we'll get to that. So my dumbass, dude, it's Friday. I'm like, wow, I let that whole trade go past me, and I couldn't enter. Like even here, like mitigation block, it sort of like sets up closes under the breaker. You could enter here. Like there's just a lot of entries. That's just like I was like, oh, that's some tea. Just like you were talking, confuse myself.
Mm,
It should be in line with my narrative and in line
interesting.
with the news. And so I fucking fucked up and I just missed it. Well, what I should do is stop.
Mm,
But I do something that I haven't done in a while, and here comes a trash trade. Um, and the funniest thing is like I rationalize it during the trade, which makes it more trash. Everything took previous day low. We
yeah.
did not. Usually, when you take out the low of major liquidity point, there's at least a reaction. And for some reason, I'm like, for no other reason that I would ever do, I'm going to play the reaction. But not only am I going to play the reaction, I'm going to play the reaction as if it's one of my normal trades. If you're going to play the reaction, buy immediately and put your stop up fast. And instead, I'm like, all right, I'll wait for a 1 minute order block to form. Okay, it's formed. All right, I'm entered stop there. 48 points. I know that this trade is ass. I'm praying that it gets to here somewhere. So I reduced my risk on YM to like 1 or 2 micros, essentially $40 risk.
mm,
Okay.
hmm.
So no biggie. Hey man, we can take a super trade. We know, yeah, like okay, yeah, this is not a trade. Like, where's the higher time frame PD rate really? Like, well, why would you take a 1 minute month? Do you actually like really believe it? And then honestly, aren't we also bearish at this? You just sort of said you're bearish. You sort of just realize you're bearish. Now you immediately on the first tap of it, huh? Uh-oh. We better reduce risk. Rather.
Yeah.
Could have got out at green. Could have got out of break even. Could have got out of break even. Could have got out even a little bit before the stop. No, had to hold it. These type of trades is a knee jerk like going against some bullshit ass trade. It cost me very little, and I ended up getting a nice banger on this later. But as soon as I took it, I took the loss. I was like, that was just like some knee jerk bullshit that you've been successfully fighting, but you're gonna make mistakes sometimes, and they're just gonna pop up here and there. This is why this is a trash trade. This is a bad habit of mine that I have been battling with, and it's a perfect example. I even rationalized it. I knew that I was doing it in real time, and I rationalized it. I'm gonna go light. I'll just go. I'll just lighten it up. No problem. forty
Mm,
dollars. That's like a freebie, bro. What ended up happening, and I'm gonna like this is what ended up happening. Okay, news hit at 11, and I literally told Andy, if this thing pops, whichever one that it pops on, I'm going to fucking short it. and aha. And I think like I put like a 50% fib on this leg from the top down. A fib. Oh yeah, I did. Okay. And I did it with the rest of them just to see. Oh yeah, hold on. I'll make it even better here. And this is like a perfect example on why you really need to stay disciplined in trading because it will affect you. And I'm glad that I stayed disciplined after that. I'm glad that I recognized this loss. And you just have to be honest with yourself. Like $40 loss, no biggie. How many times do you hear that from people when they're doing the same dumb shit that they've been doing? If it's the dumb shit that you've been doing, stop. Like you need to practice not doing it. It doesn't even if that trade won, it is still ass. Okay, it's not about winning. It's about what is sustainable.
Yeah.
Okay, and so one of my fucking favorite models shows up. 15-minute fair value gap, guys. I love market maker models, and oh, there might have been another one up there. Let me see. Doesn't matter. Okay, as you'll notice, these are also like related fair value gaps in the 50%. Hits the 50%. This one hits the fair value gap. This one
Mm.
hasn't yet.
Yeah.
Okay. This is another SMT. It's a cracking correlation. Just like I would want, and it hit the thing. I said, Andy, I will absolutely do this. I'm still not trying to rush it, even though we made a SMT and a higher time frame in line with my draw. But technically, this is a potential entry for me. But nowadays, I want to see the reaction to this fair value gap. Before we do that, I don't just like blindly just enter. I wait a little bit, and if I miss a trade, I miss a trade. So we digging into the fair value gap. Let's see how the bounce is. Okay. Goes into the we're making fair value gaps here. This is another potential entry. This is like a an entry that Arjo would do. It's called a sharp turn. Fair value gap into the PD array, fair value gaps out. Those are signs that you're no longer that that bullish. And remember, this is also news. So the news said the spike and the SMT, everything is lining up for too short. I'm still being patient. If I miss a
Mm.
trade, I miss a trade. I already know that I fucked up. So what I'm waiting here, because we're at the equilibrium of this fair value gap, is for price to close under this. Here, now I don't need to show these. Price to close under this 1 minute candle because we're doing a 15-minute tap. And at this point, we don't need the double tap that's ideal because this is pushed by news.
Yeah.
Okay, so all of it, I'm like, okay, and if I lose this, it's whatever. Okay, I enter. I could have waited
Interesting.
um, for it to tap. I'm trying to think if I did. Yeah, I think probably put it here. I might have even let it to go in, and then I'll just like aiming for a 2R, which I like. Just this right here is the wick of the last monthly candle, so 75%. And then like I have like a broadening formation fucking line that sometimes I look for like targets for to add onto my confluences. But this is like looking good to me. I didn't even do this, but I bet you it lines up pretty good. Oops. 2.5, a little retrace, might go less. So then I enter, and then this is honestly like a good trade. But um, right around here, I attempted to trim, and I added, and I closed the position.
Mm.
It fucked up my gains because honestly, I was pretty bearish at this point because everything had lined up on the higher time frame for it to be bearish. We had NFP, we had this pump pretty closer to here, and I wanted to leave a runner. I think on YM, like I still took very light risk here with like half position, but I only just wanted to trim one, but it went, and I ended up fucking it up. But this is the thing. So like after all that, I ended up like making like $80 or so on this shit, and but I closed the day at 40. Now, I'm not gonna cry
Interesting.
about it. It's already later. This is at 11 after I want to generally trade, but those type of trades are exactly why that you can't. Those type of trades are exactly why bad trades like kill your gains. There's one trade. It was a very small. I went in light, and it still affected my gains because even on good trades, you can accidentally do something and it fuck up your gains, and then it's like okay, whatever. I could have easily got this like 2.5R, and honestly, like after this displacement and this creation of the fair value gap, like my stop's going like to break even probably, just because we broke these lows. So
Yeah. Mm,
like essentially this is exactly why, and like I wanted to record it because the show is like in a way mostly for us to like look back on. This is an example that even as you get better, and just like I said, the trashiness of the trades is going to decrease. It wasn't that harmful, but it can become that harmful easily. Practicing anything like bad is not good.
yeah,
And look, like all I had to do is have faith in my model, quickly trades. What is this? There's not anything going on here.
yeah, it see, okay, the first trade I'm gonna comment on because I find a lot in common with the first trade with my trade in the last episode, episode 61.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sort of the mistake that I sort of have too, where I gather a bias on whatever time frame, the hour or the 15, etc. And I like to jump in straight away on the one bet, not and as you said, VJ, which was literally um similar to what we said last week, which was we didn't wait for the confirmed entry. Small port boys, we have to wait for a confirmed entry.
Yes,
And
sir.
these sort of trades of just go straight to the 1 minute. You see a reaction, and then you get your FOMO feelings, your impulse feelings, your whatever it is. Then the list goes on. That feelings that normal traders have can stack up, as you said last week. Even those minimizing 50% of those impulse lost trades can actually make a difference. And in the first trade, it was very much so the same. And I feel like it's weird because I definitely noticed that sort of habit that I've got on impulsing in trades, and then straight away like thinking, what am I doing, and then just exiting the trade. Like I'm in, I was like, what am I doing? Exit the trade. And it's those like I didn't stick to a plan. Like I said last week, I didn't actually form a a good entry like with the fair value gap, with the fib or whatever it is. And those impulse trades of like entering and then closing immediately, I feel like that's a habit that a lot of traders have because they are too connected with that higher time frame bias that they just want to get in. They know it's gonna happen. They just want to get in, and then it starts to snowball.
I actually think that it's almost like so that the what you're saying is a problem, but I don't think actually many traders do that. So I'm gonna commend you for
Mm,
closing the trade because that's what I had to start doing originally. But then you see those small losses stack up, much smaller than they would have been, and then you're like, I just need to not. And so the thing is, what most people do is they do what I did there, which is they take the trade and they pray to God
yeah,
instead of taking an active like, oh, what this is a trash trade. Okay, I'm closing it. That's what you should do. You're reacting appropriately to your mistake. Mistakes happen, and you doing that and you seeing that, first of all, that protects your port more. Second of all, that shows that you're at least like engaged and like not like in hopium, but more just like, oh, that's a mistake. I'm out. And if it goes your way, who cares? It doesn't matter
yeah,
because that was a mistake. That is actually growth towards fixing that goal. If you keep going on and be like, you know what, like I'll just miss the trade. That's what like I usually have to tell myself, which is, yep, it's delivering like because you just what you said was also the point. Like many people will think that they have the bias and they might be correct, but then they just fucking don't want to miss a move, and then so they get into something that it isn't the move. The market will show you when it's ready. And if it does some things and you miss it, like I should have been up fucking over here.
yeah,
I missed all of this. But like you keep your eyes open and you allow it to offer you an entry. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. Who gives a shit? We trade all the time, every day. It's gonna come back and pay. This would have been a 200-point move. I ended up closing it at like 125 or some shit over there. That's
mm,
fabulous. It said I lose 40 points for some reason, so that goes to 80, whatever. And I was light, so yep, didn't make much. And then I was already coming back from this loss, so made even less. So, and then when you do that on your winning trades, winning days, what happens on your losing days? Like it's like you're not. It's essentially this is like not allowing your winners to run.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
I wasn't allowed got the extra 80 points here because I fucked up and clicked this button. I mean, the software could have fucked up. There could have been a million things. This is something I control. And so when you close it early, that's good. Good for you. And just think about I would rather miss the move because when you close it early, you're doing that. You're essentially saying, even if I'm right and this was the right entry, this isn't the entry that I should have been in
Yeah,
because this is not my model. And I don't care if it goes straight to my target because this, like, I have to close. So then just take that the one step further, which is this isn't my entry. So I don't care if it goes to the target. It needs to offer me my entry. And I
exactly.
literally told Andy I wanted to do this and hopefully SMT, and I drew out the other fair value gaps, and then have a 1 minute model, and I'll play it down to here and maybe some lower targets.
Mm, yeah,
And then it did exactly that. With the news, there was a red folder, FOMC member talking, and thank God it turned a small red day on a stupid trade I shouldn't have taken into a green day on a great trade I should have taken that I fucking executed wrongly on, and also had an unnecessary loss, which destroyed the gains for the day and left me with $40 rather than probably like 100 to 200 probably.
yeah, yeah,
That's okay. We learned, but these are unacceptable problems to continue to practice because I already know better than that. I knew while I was doing it that it was better than that. That's the thing that's like, okay, we learned this is why this is a trash trade.
I
It
agree.
wasn't that damaging, but it's trash.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, it really is that those, those small impulse losers that really do build up. Um, so although it's not the trashiest trade, we don't have like, the all the confluences. Maybe you had a wrong bias, or maybe you had a wrong setup, or a ton of the reasons we outlined in other episodes. It is quite an important loss because it's very common, and that sort of loss is quite negative. I see the same in my trading, so it was definitely an important loss to, you know, it was a good trade. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
All right. I'm glad. I wasn't even planning on showing this, but it actually does sort of lock how stupid these are. But even if you're doing well, you know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
really got to just eliminate them because just even think about this. If you, and Casper says this a lot, but I was already thinking this. If you can eliminate like half of your losers, half of your dumb trades, remember that's what I used to call them, dumb trades.
Mhm.
I still call them that. If you can eliminate, now I call them knee jerk trades because that tends to be most of my dumb trades. If you can eliminate half of them, you might be profitable.
Yeah.
Most people would be. Just half of those things, and then like all of a sudden, like, oh, half of my most common losers go away. If you do the math, you're like, wow, that's like 40% of my losses, and they're like my bigger losses. Then you just take them out, and you're like, oh shit, you just keep more trades like this. And
Mhm.
then you have fewer of these, and then like the needle, like sort of, it starts moving in your favor more.
Yeah. Definitely. Absolutely.
Should we, if I can wrap it up?
Yeah. Let's get out of here. 100%.
All right, we're gonna fucking wrap it up like a fucking burrito. All right, listen,
Amen.
guys, listen.
Love you guys.
We love you. You know, like and subscribe. Like, send us fucking money. Like, fucking, you know, fucking massage our feet. You know, join us in the tub. Whatever the fuck, man. We don't really give a shit.
Indeed.
I mean, we do give a shit, but like, is anyone out there? If anyone's out there, like, point the flashlight and like click the light on a couple times, and
On God,
we'll
this
come back.
armadillo is lonely type shit.
Absolutely. I'm the armadillo. You're the fucking
Twinkle
the
Khan.
something. Yeah, twinkle kind. But like from Mongolia, you know, that type of kind.
Yeah. Okay.
So
Anyway.
all right, we're out. Perfect.
Love you guys. Talk to you guys then.
Love you.
All right. Bye bye.
Like and subscribe, send
Like and
money.
subscribe. Comment.
My yeah, I'll just put up my fucking Bitcoin wallet.
Okay.
That's
Love
the
you guys.
easiest for everyone.